course, the man to my left, your right, depending on yours, how your screen's flipped. What you got for us this fine evening, sir?
I can't wait to go see Intergalactic Free Willy tomorrow. Joe Tonello.
Intergalactic. With that being said, we are the Git Bit Podcast. Before we get started, guys, to let you know that even though, like the WWE of old, we still do let words fly at the same time, there may be trailers that might be shown that might be too intense for younger viewers, so your discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So, how do we start this? Well, I guess we can start with the... Well, let's start with...
start this the only way we know how. Pictures of Spider-Man.
I was going to say positive news first before we get to the bad news.
Nope, the only way we can in the Daily Bugle newsroom. We need pictures. Pictures of Spider-Man.
Well, we're going to start with some good news then. So unless you've been under a rock, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse trailer has came out. And if you've not seen it, here it is.
I can hear you being quiet, Mom.
I hope I didn't ice your game, man.
No one my age says those words in that order.
It's just hard to see my little man not being my little boy all the time.
Yeah.
For years, I've been taking care of this little boy. Making sure he is loved, that he feels like he belongs wherever he wants to be. He wants to go out into the world and do great big things.
Not bad, kid.
And what I worry about most,
I love you, Miles,
is they won't look out for you like us.
Miles!
Want to get out of here? Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from. And he never doubts that he is loved. And he never lets anyone tell him that he doesn't belong there. You gotta promise, Miles.
I promise.
Who do you think you are? Really?
We are supposed to be the good guys.
We are.
All right, guys, and as you can see right there, June 2nd, 2023 is when Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse comes out. Joe, I think you had some interesting facts about somebody who really took the time to name every Spider-Man variant that was in that trailer.
Well, we got several articles listing who everybody is in that month. Well, the majority of the ones that are clear, very clear enough to see. We have both IGN and Polygon listing who everybody is. So we have, first off, Miles Morales, very obvious. Gwen. Peter B. Parker sporting a, what are those things called? A papoose?
I'm just going to say a pouch. That's all I know.
A dad pouch.
A dad pouch.
And they have on Twitter actually shown baby Mayday Parker, who is being just, adorable in a little onesie with a little Spider-Man spider picture pinned to her. And the other thing that's been drawing people is that she has heterochromia, to where one eye is brown and one eye is blue.
Yeah.
On top of that, those are the known ones, aside from Oscar Isaacs being $20.99. In the thing, first off, we have the Alex Ross Mark IV Spider Armor.
Okay.
The Bulletproof Mark II Spider Armor from the Dan Slott run. We very briefly see Sony's Spider-Man and Sony's Spider-Man, meaning White Spider Suit Peter and End of Game Miles Morales, which is interesting because in that room of Spider people, you don't really see Miles's.
I guess that is true. Now that I think about it, you really don't see it.
We get to see a brief snippet of Renew Your Vows Spinneret, aka Mary Jane Parker, with their daughter Spiderling, Annie Mae Parker.
Mm-hmm.
The Mechanical Webs was Maybelle Riley, the steampunk Spider Woman. We get a brief shot of Werewolf Spider-Man. You just can't miss it. There's Spider Cop. Mangaverse Spider-Man.
Spider Cop. No, I want to play Marvel Spider-Man again.
A variant version of Jessica Drew.
Okay.
Which was the Black Lady in the Jessica Drew style costume. They're saying it's that universe's Spider-Woman. I'm down with that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't see anything wrong with that.
Huh.
We do get to see a brief snippet of Superior Spider-Man during the chase sequence.
That'll be interesting.
I think he's going to have like a one-off line of the die is cast, and that's as much as we're going to get from him.
Probably so, but it would be nice to actually have what's his face? Dang it. The guy who played Dr. Octopus in the Spider-Man movies. I cannot.
Alfred Molina?
Thank you. To have him voice it.
We get a Spider-Woman that has the same suit as Anya Corazon during her tenure as Spider-Girl.
Okay.
We also get a version possibly of Mayday Parker is from the Earth A2 series of Spider-Girl.
Yeah.
Classic Armored Spider-Man.
Saw that.
The Fortnite Spider-Man Zero makes an appearance. He's either Earth and Spider-Man Armor Mark III. We're not sure which.
We'll never get rid of Fortnite. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's not my fault on there. A blink and you miss it version of possibly Tom Holland's Spider-Man,
which
from
they did
from Far From Home.
They also rumored that possibly Maguire and Garfield's Spider-Man suits were also seen.
Possibly. We get to see one of the two Scarlet brothers, as you get to see a very, very quick shot of Kane's Spider-Man costume when he was running around in Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Web Dancer, which is from the current Dan Slott Spider series going on right now.
Okay.
Earth X Spider-Man, which was that super chunky Spider-Man with the normal pants and normal shoes.
I probably have to find a picture of that. I don't remember that one.
And of course, as already mentioned, Oscar Isaacs as Miguel O'Hara, 2099 will be a central figure.
And a very angry
Spider Monkey.
For Spider-Man 2099, why did Miguel have to be so angry? You don't belong. It's like a gatekeeper Spider-Man. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
We also get a shot of one of the most maligned Spider-Man of your and I growing up. He does make an appearance, Spider-Man Unlimited. Then we also get Spider-Punk, who is going to be a main character in the series.
Nice.
Voiced by Daniel Kaluuya. Jessica Drew is being voiced by Issa Rae.
Issa Rae, yeah.
We also get the return of Spider-Man.
Right.
Japanese Spider-Man, who may or may not be voiced by his original actor. They have not listed his voice actor, but they did say that he would be one of the main Spider-Man for this series.
Interesting.
Spider-Man India, Parvitar Parbakar. He has a new design, which is both really cool, but also kind of a bummer because his original Spider-Man India costume is really cool. But this time around, they gave him a redesign, and it's just as cool, but like you could tell he was definitely built as a different Spider-Man when they see him in the comics. We do get to see the bombastic Bagman, who is interestingly designed and has a art style that does look like a 1960s comic.
It's still funny. He's hard to miss. He's hard to miss, ladies and gentlemen. I'll put it that way. He's very hard to miss.
We also see a brief scene of Undie Spidey, who's walking on a wall for some weird reason. And then my personal favorite, because I'm horribly biased, Ben Reilly. In his Scarlet Spider persona will be a main character in this because he's also getting his own toy.
Okay. I'm just thinking far. I'm just thinking ahead to the comic pool just with Ben.
And also, they are listing a character as Cyborg Spider-Woman who looks like a Hulk, but female in a Spider-Man costume with her entire left arm replaced by a 90s cable gun, sporting a giant pauldron that would put most World of Warcraft characters to shame. But they've got their own spider toy. So we've got a fair amount of spider people running around the Spider-Verse this time around. We don't know what's going on. We don't know the main plot. We do know that the Spot is involved. That has already been confirmed. We just haven't gotten the reveal of the villain trailer yet. But
it's almost like 1 versus 100 because the whole thing of nobody wants you here. That seems to be a theme as far as belonging. But not to cut you off, Joe. What were you going to say?
What I was going to say is like we just haven't gotten it, but surely the Spot frames this version of Miles. Because as I stated earlier, in all those scenes of all the different Spider-Men and Spider-Women, we only see our Miles and Sony video game Miles.
Yeah, the
Everybody
Sony
else is a Peter, a Ben, a Kane, or a Gwen, or a Jessica.
Which is going to be interesting. But that's that you brought that up just to add on to that, just because that news also came out as well. Insomniac Games did announce that Marvel Spider-Man 2 will launch on PS5 in 2023. We got the trailer a ways back. I want to say we got it back at E3. I'm not exactly 100% sure about that. But they did actually, but Insomniac Games did report that fall 2023. So let's be honest, usually in fall, it's usually around Halloween, probably close to the other end of Thanksgiving. However, as me and Joe have both said, that a lot of these games are starting to go next gen, which means that for you PS4 and Xbox One owners like myself included, it might be time to finally either, get that Steam Deck you've always wanted, or have to get a next gen console, just because a lot of these games are not going to be going backwards compatible anymore, to feed the masses. But from what I've been told, scalpers are getting tired of PS5, so good news for us.
And I'll be damned if I missed the Candyman not voicing Venom.
Oh man. But that's Spider-Man news that we do have. But also, like I said, me and Joe this past Thursday did actually cover the VGA Awards. We actually gave our live reaction. You can definitely check it out on YouTube and on Twitch for replays. But for all those, let's be honest, we all watched the VGAs for trailers. So we decided to find one that actually showed every reveal from the Video Game Awards. So if you got 9 minutes, then for the next 9 minutes, this was everything that was shown during the VGAs. And what do we say, Joe? The one person they expected to freak out didn't freak out, but the person that we didn't expect to freak out did freak out?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a long story. We'll explain that later. But anyway, if you just want to know, here's every reveal from the Video Game Awards in 9 minutes. All right, so that was an interesting 9 minutes. That's actually all the trailers that they actually show the VGAs. A lot of them were hits and misses. Some of them we did actually like. Again, if you want to know our opinions on live reviews, but there is one that Joe did bring up that I did want to talk about because it was surprising when we first saw it. Because I didn't know it was going to be Transformers. But Joe kind of caught it at the end because he looked at the hand and said, dude, they just reactivated Bumblebee. So we are going to go ahead and show this. But anything you want to say before we show the Transformers reactivate trailer, Joe?
No, I'm good.
All right, here's the trailer.
This ain't working. We should melt it down for ammo.
And we're live.
Come on, big guy.
Sequencing at 17%. Loading memory core now.
It's all the same. Only the names will change. And every day it seems we're wasting away. Another place where the faces are so cold. I drive all night just to get back home.
All right. Let's get lucky.
'Cause I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I ride. I'm wanted, dead or alive.
Oh, I have so many questions. That was the trailer for Transformers Reactivate. Again, that was announced at the Video Game Awards. It has been, dang, how long has it been since we've actually had a Transformers game? Because the last one I played was War for Cybertron. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I don't remember when the last Transformer game was. Joe, do you got any idea?
Oh yeah, a couple months ago when they put out Transformers Cyberverse, and it was a tactics game.
Thank you. Okay, so for me it's been a while, but from the looks of it, I think the most information that we got about this was that according to the developers at Splash Damage, and this is what they said. Actually, didn't really have to say a lot, but hang on a second. That of course at the time they're trying to work with the right partner, and they were trying to, and of course to sum this up, let's make some freaking sick shooters. So we do know that Transformers Reactivate, from the sound of it, is going to be a shooting game. I'm assuming from Transformers, you are going to go between vehicle and Autobot or Decepticon, more than likely. But Joe, any thoughts on this as far as what to expect, or should we just wait till more information comes out? Or do you have any idea?
I mean, they're listed as a co-op online shooter, so I don't really know what that entails. I don't know if that means it's going to be like Ghostbusters, where it's or not Ghostbusters, that's a bad analogy. I mean, I just kind of hope we get both Autobots and Decepticons, because I don't think they list as what is attacking Earth, because according to the thing, Earth has already been conquered.
Mm-hmm.
It's something called the Legion. Don't really know what the Legion is in terms of Transformers mythology. That may be one of their own things.
Okay.
I mean, I've been trying to look into it. The most I can find is pretty much the same as everybody else. It's a review of the game trailers, blah, 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 blah. Come on, guys. You don't need to be posting stuff covering your own article.
Well, they got to do it for the link. Do it for the clicks.
Review trailer, John Bon Jovi. Volca announced developer Battalion 1944 is also going to be working on it. Bulkhead closed beta is going to be planned for sometime in 2023.
Okay.
They don't have a launch window yet. I would probably say by Christmas time. The one big photo they do show is a lot of techno-organic stuff across there. So I don't know if this is actually... I don't know if they're fighting something Cybertronian. I don't know if this is... Because, I mean, I initially thought this was Mass Effect when it looked like a Reaper came down.
Looked like it, didn't it? Yeah.
So we don't even know if it's Autobots versus Decepticons, or if it's Autobots and Decepticons. I mean, it's like, the Decepticons like, well, we can't rule a planet if there's no planet to rule. So
that would be interesting. Autobots and Decepticons working together, that's not the first time it's happened against a greater enemy. But that's just interesting to see what they come up with. I hope they do release more information as we get there. But
trying to find out more than just co-op action game that doesn't really tell me.
I don't think they're gonna give us a lot. They gave us a trailer and said now
Red Dead
spin.
Gets Legion Transformers Rapid, a 1 to 4 player online action game from Splash Damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a co-op action game. So
that's probably all they're going to give you.
I mean, for right now, yeah. Hopefully we'll get to pick our Autobots. I mean,
I'm still partial.
I know who I'm partial to in terms of picking, but I don't think they're going to give me the twins. So
wouldn't be surprised though. Depends on how.
To be fair, I mean, Destruction at least gave me Sideswipe. Didn't give me Sunstreaker, but it gave me Sideswipe.
They may, depending on how deep they go down the well with the rosters. So, but we'll definitely see. But I also want to point this out as well because before we get to the heartbreaking news that has been said, let's do one more little bit of good news before we get into the head that is the Hydra that is DC right now. Blue Beetle, surprisingly enough, is still getting full support, still getting DC's backing under Gunn and San Fran's helm leadership, I guess you can call it. Anyway, finally gets a synopsis, which is pretty much saying the man there that's in Cobra Kai, forgive me if I mispronounce your name, sir, Zolo Mariana, and if that's the incorrect pronunciation, I sincerely apologize. But he's actually playing Jaime Reyes in the movie in Blue Beetle, where it says that, of course, he returns home full of aspirations for his future. Recent college grad only found out that his home is not quite as he left it. As he searches to find his purpose in the world, fate intervenes when Jaime unexpectedly finds himself in possession of a ancient alien biotechnology called the Scarab. Now, it does mention that when the Scarab suddenly chose Jamie to be its symbiotic host, he is bestowed with an incredible suit of armor capable of extraordinary and unpredictable powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes a superhero Blue Beetle. It does mention, because everybody was wondering what the original Blue Beetle, Ted Kord, where he would be. I believe you said that the movie is going to cover it. If I'm wrong, this Joe, the movie's going to semi-cover what happened to Ted Kord, or is that still up in the air right now?
Well, I don't know if they're going to cover both Dan Garrett and Ted Kord. I mean, Dan Garrett was the original Blue Beetle with his own sidekick for all of 5 issues, and then the sidekick kind of vanished. And then Ted Kord came in, and Ted Kord's been the level of Blue Beetle ever since. We don't know if this is post getting shot in the head by Maxwell Lord Ted Kord, or if this is magically retconned. I got better from it, Ted Kord.
Yeah.
So we don't know. I just hope we get to see Ted in there because Ted's my favorite Blue Beetle. Jaime being basically the DC equivalent of the Guyver is pretty fun. I do like his book because he's just a giant dork as much as Ted is a science nerd, because he's just a comic book dork who lucked into a Guyver suit, basically, they have also retconned. That's the reason why Dan Garrett's costume changed so much in the Golden Age, is that the Scarab Kajida was malfunctioning, and it would never give Dan Garrett the same uniform twice because it was broken.
Yeah.
Go check out Linkar's blue skying thing for the whole history of Dan Garrett and Ted Kord. It's well worth it. Nice. But as far as this one, this just seems like a very straightforward introduction movie, especially the graduated, come back to town, and nothing seems like, so what you're telling me is Kronos bought the town and it's turned everybody into a Zoonoid. And your dad's that acid one that probably can kill you. And then you come back as a clone.
I mean, you're not wrong as far as that.
And then we have to fight the Hyperzoonoid Reach 5. I keep going with the Guyver analogies here for a while.
I can see that. But no,
don't forget that Solid Snake is also the Guyver.
Yes, David Hattier played in the first movie, which a lot of people, when they look at the name, was the second. Oh, that's right. Sorry, Mark Hamill was first. He was second in Dark Hero. Sorry,
Mark Hamill wasn't even a Guyver.
Say what?
Mark Hamill wasn't even the Guyver. He was just like the detective in the movie. Also, don't forget, JB Smoove is also a Zoanoid.
Oh,
not JB Smoove.
No,
What's his name? He was the guy that played the one that always says Dynamite.
Oh, Jimmy Walker.
Thank you.
Jimmy
Walker.
Walker.
I thought JB Smoove.
I was gonna say you wouldn't be wrong though, because Jimmy Walker and JB Smoove kind of got the same cadence, so you're not wrong. But either way, I'm glad that Blue Beetle is still getting its full support, still moving forward. I think
that's one of the few DC movies left that is still going forward. But I think it's also colorful enough to where James Gunn's like, now we can make that work.
Yep. And that's kind of leading me to this news. They always said bad news comes in threes. Well, we are not short of that. So we might as well go ahead and get this out the way.
I wouldn't say all of this is necessarily bad news. If anything, we get clarification, we get confirmation, and then we get a what's the
where you're going with this? It's all bad news to me, but go ahead.
What's the WWE terminology when they release farewell and?
Oh, not. We wish him well in his future endeavors. Really?
Yes. Not we get a letter of future endeavors.
Not that we wish him well in his future endeavors.
I mean, it's better than what Mandy Rose got.
Ooh, 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 damn. Anyway, bad news. So, unless you've been under a rock, yesterday we all got gut punched. Henry Cavill, first one on his IG, and if you haven't seen it, well, here it is, and I'll just be very, very quick in reading this. I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran. It's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman after being told by the studio to announce my return back in October. Prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and happiest of fortunes. For those who have been by my side throughout the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists, and the examples he sets for us are still there. My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards. So, and like I said, unless you've been under a rock, Henry Cavill did go on Instagram to say that after his meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, that he will no longer be in Superman. And I know for a lot of people what they were thinking, especially if you saw Black Adam in the ending credit scene, that where we saw Henry Cavill Superman did meet The Rock's Black Adam, that it did give us a little hope. Now, that being said, before we give our points on this, I always sit there and say this. Bullying is never a good thing. I understand that people get very, very protective of their fandoms. They get very protective of things they love and care about, but there is no need to go on to individuals' Instagram, social medias, who are being tasked with filling very big shoes that have been left by previous actors to completely crap on them, shame them, say, how could you, and leave death threats and just everything else. And not only includes those that are taking up different mantles, like Liam Hemsworth will be taking up Geralt, taking the role of Geralt on The Witcher.
No. We have a rule. On here we call him Jerry of the River.
That being said, he doesn't deserve he doesn't deserve any of what's coming to him right now, just because
we do have one asterisk I do want to point out, though, is that he voluntarily left The Witcher not only to pursue Superman, but because he was unhappy with how they were treating the story.
Because they didn't stick to the source content, which, by the way, was plenty of it. But before like I said, it doesn't help to bully and crap on those who are getting a shot, because for a lot of us, we would love to have those roles that these actors get to play, especially superhero roles, fantasy roles, things of that nature. If we had the chance, we would go ahead and act them. We would go ahead and take those roles, no problem.
No, but I don't have the time or the money or the knees to do that kind of a workout.
If you sat there and told me that I could play a superhero role, you don't think, man, Look. If I told my fiance tomorrow that I got the role of a lifetime, whether it's in the MCU or DC, you think she's gonna let me? You think she's gonna let me let that slide by? She's gonna start and say go. I mean, that's just me. If I ever got the role of a lifetime, I'm definitely running with it. F the haters, personally. But
I'm happy to be one of the X characters in the background. Just make sure I don't have a crappy power. I refuse to be Beak.
I was gonna say, you don't want to be Condiment King.
I'll be Condiment King. I'll be the man who defeats Batman. It also means I'm technically an ordained minister.
That is also true. But no, but getting back to this, and I'm gonna throw it over to Joe. Yes, does it hurt? Yes. Henry Cavill not being Superman, who in my eyes was probably the best impression of Superman since Christopher Reeve, and that's only because that's my area of Superman between Reeves, Brandon Routh, which by the way did a great Superman Returns. But then Henry Cavill, three great actors who have all do Superman justice. Now, does it hurt? Absolutely. I was hoping for Cavill to finally get a decent run of Superman because I believe he did not get that under Snyder. But that being said, he still may come because as we get to the next bit of sad news, that he might not entirely be gone from DC, but at the same time, Marvel may be giving him a call, and the speculation has already started on who Henry Cavill could be in the MCU. But that being said, I still trust in what Gunn and Safran are going to do with DC. It's just that this news is going to hurt a little bit. Our dreams and hopes of the movies that we hope to get may not happen in that succession, but still, there's no reason to be a dick. But Joe, what do you think?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person because,
I'll go ahead.
I've posted my feelings on Facebook already. You people just need to let this go. This man got a raw deal, was made Superman in the three most underperforming DC movies there were. Now, keep in mind, they were profitable, but what I mean by underperforming is by WB standards, meaning they did not make immediately $1 billion like a Marvel movie does.
Pretty much.
Back in the before times.
Yeah.
I mean, James Cameron right now is ludicrous thinking he's going to make billions of dollars off Avatar 2 in this current day and age, regardless of if the movie's good or not. The audience is no longer there for cinema. So he's not getting that $1 billion almost instantly.
It's been a decade plus, but I digress. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's the project he had.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do, he can come back in a multitude of ways. Mm-hmm. James Gunn is and people turn their back on people at the drop of the dime. It's almost like they forget James Gunn made us care about our tree and our raccoon for nearly a decade.
Right.
He made the biggest misogynist, racist, asshole-ish, stupidest character and overnight sensation.
True.
He made us believe that Kevin Bacon can be in a spaceship and sing Christmas and Aliens.
And gave us another Christmas special to watch on Christmas. But go ahead.
Help fix and this is objective, help fix Suicide Squad. Some people did not like the James Gunn Suicide Squad.
Oh, he fixed it. He did leaps and bounds with Suicide. I'm sorry. He fixed Suicide Squad.
I'm not going to pigeonhole saying everybody that didn't like it is wrong. Can't do that. You have your own taste in film. I recognize that. It's why in my Facebook post, I said subjectively, he is in the 3 worst DC films.
Okay.
Save for Wonder Woman 2. Wonder Woman 2 is just its own thing. But we have Patty Jenkins talk later on in the show.
Yeah.
There are multiple ways you get him back in DC.
Mm-hmm.
The best way would be if we want to do Crisis on Infinite Earths, he comes back as Earth 2 Superman. All you got to do is have him graze temples, different Superman suit. You bring him if the Legion of Superheroes come, because James Gunn has stated, and we'll get to this in a bit, he's going with a younger timeline Superman. Guess what happens to younger timeline Superman? the Legion of Superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
So what can Henry Cavill come back as? Mon-El. Or that man's got a chiseled jaw. We can just make him Captain Atom. We could do. James Gunn could be bringing us the Bwahaha era of the Justice League. We don't know that. We already got a Blue Beetle in the era in the thing. It's not gonna be that hard. You can slap on silver paint onto Henry Cavill. We'll call him Captain Atom.
Mm-hmm.
If Marvel calls, so for some weird reason, everybody wants him to be Doctor Doom, and I don't understand that. He's too built to be Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
he's going to be behind an iron mask. That means Henry Cavill's going to have to be wearing like a crap ton of prosthetics every time that mask is off.
That's true.
The better net one they've been doing is Captain Britain. I can definitely see him being Brian Braddock. And I can also see Marvel being petty and making him Hyperion.
It would be perfect against the Thunderbolts.
No, I think the Thunderbolts are taking on the Sentry.
They're taking Sentry?
I think they're taking on Bob.
Huh. Okay.
Also, DC. You want Henry Cavill to come back? Ultraman.
Ooh.
Let him come back leading the crime syndicate.
Ooh.
So right there are 4 possible ways, and my hand is nowhere near the camera, but 4 possible ways.
Oh, they can see it.
That Henry Cavill can come back and them all be viable.
Yeah.
Although he may be a little bit old for Mon-El, but it could be they established that Mon-El is the one that started the league, so he's the oldest leaguer.
Well, let's be honest. If they can CGI Harrison Ford in the next Indiana Jones movie, they can do this to Henry Cavill.
So, Henry Cavill leaving is a blow to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I can disassociate myself from stuff very easily to a degree on some things, cinema especially, because you and I in nerd culture, we see this. We see this constantly. Every single time a new Batman is announced. The 2 times the Joker got announced.
Mm-hmm.
God help you if you're a Doctor Who fan. That's literally just an endless cycle. Spider-Man coming back.
I felt bad. I felt bad for the 14th Doctor. I still feel bad for her. She never.
13th.
Or was it? No. She was the 14th, wasn't she?
No, 14th is David Tennant again.
Oh, right. Okay, she's 13 because Peter's the 12th.
Yeah, she's the Valeyard.
Okay, I'm sorry because I was thinking Peter Capaldi's the 12th. So yeah, Jodie's the 13th. Sorry.
David Tennant's 14 and Nukti, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, is Dr. 50.
Yeah, he'll be the 15th.
So we go through this we hate him, and then the cast is like, oh no, this could work.
Yeah.
Or it's no, we hate him even still. Then the movie comes out. No, he did a great job. He's a new character. That one right there.
I said the same thing about Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight when I was like, the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You. And then when I saw the trailer, I was like, he can do it. It's like when you saw the trailer for the Dark Knight, I'm like, he can do it.
It's like the version of even Batman again. Back to the Batman analogy, animated Batmans.
Yeah,
Kevin Conroy will always be the epitome of Batman. But if you want to do a Silver Age Batman, there is nobody I would rather have than Diedrich Bader come back and always redo Brave and the Bold Batman, because that is the epitome of Silver Age Batman.
I agree.
Or what's his name? Jensen Ackles doing Batman now in the DC Animateds.
Although it's the perfect Jason Todd on Titan.
He's also the perfect Jason Todd.
He'll always be a perfect Jason Todd. But anyway, thank you for that.
We go into those cycles so much that it just doesn't matter, because guess what? We're gonna go see the movie anyways.
Yeah, unless it's Avatar.
No,
I'm sorry. I had to throw that one out there. Unless it's Avatar.
I mean, unless it's Avatar, then we just get to see what movie is Jane Cameron ripping off. I mean, homaging to make very pretty things. I guarantee you, and we will make an ice cream bet right now.
Okay.
We will go see Avatar. One of that dude's CGI kids is going to have the Free Willy scene where a space whale jumps over him.
if that happens, oh God, if that happens, I'm gonna be like, really, Cameron? Really, James? This is
No. We're ice cream betting. One of us will owe each other ice cream.
no, that's fair. I just like you'll see the movie before I see it. So if you see it, I need a confirmation with a witness. Like if this actually happened,
we may not see the point, but I guarantee you, we will see a space whale jump a child.
All I gotta say is if that happens, Cold Stone on me. That happens, Cold Stone is definitely on me.
Now we do have good news because James Gunn did put out on his Twitter just a whole list of stuff answering questions. Mm-hmm. We did get confirmation that the Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson Batman is still its own individual thing. Yep. He is not the official Batman moving forward. We got confirmation that Ben Affleck will possibly be directing something.
Yeah, he wants him to direct a movie. He wants him to direct a movie in DC. I was trying to get to
Taylor, right there, writer of beloved books, is asking questions and whatnot. We also got
let me get to this before you go to the next part, because you did talk about him addressing Superman. He does say right here, among those in the slate of Superman in the initial stages, our story will be focused on either an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill. Of course, he did say we just had a great meeting with Henry, and we're big fans. We talked about a number of exciting possibilities in the future. Of course, being a part of the slate, I assume it's a movie. James Gunn did confirm yes for Superman, so we definitely got that. He says, please tell me this isn't an origin movie. He confirms no way. And yeah, that's the part I was trying to find, where it said right here, met with Ben yesterday precisely because he wants to direct, and we want him to direct. We just have to find the right project. So as Joe had pointed out, James Gunn has done something I've never really seen a major head of any studio, much less a machine such as DC do, which is really just taking the time on Twitter and really answering some questions. Now, granted, he didn't answer everybody. I mean, you can't really expect him to.
There's Green Arrow.
Say that one more time.
There's Green Arrow.
I'm sorry, I got lost in what I was gonna say. Where do you see?
Oh, Stephen Ford. I thought that said Stephen Amell.
I was like, where do you see Green Arrow? Because I started to look that up for a second. Uh-oh. I think I lost my screens. Oh, this ain't good. Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've just lost both my screens. That's a first. Hang on one second, because both my screens have literally just went dark.
We're looking at the Henry Cavill screen right now, by the way.
Okay, well, what I was going to sit there and say was, because there was one they were showing at the bottom that I was just like, wow, the level of the guy, where, let's see if I can get back to it, because that's wild. My screens just both went black. Okay, let me get to it for a second, because it was something I wanted to catch really quickly, because it was just the thing that he said that was really crazy. Where is it? Oh, and my screen's again, because he was sitting there saying there was one person. It's like right here. You talk about balance, but you get rid of an actor. But do you really think it's reasonable that an actor is told to reprise a character in less than 2 months? You tell him the opposite. To me, that sounds like a tremendous lack of respect and seriousness. So you get a lot of these people who are literally and figuratively losing their minds, so to speak.
So to address that is WB giving the go-ahead on one thing, and then not consulting James Gunn or the other dude before letting them release that statement. And then James Gunn having to do damage controls, because WB did tell him, hey, tell everybody you're back.
Right.
And then James Gunn's like, we don't have the slate done. By the way, the slate's done. We don't have room for him. That's not on James Gunn. That's WB jumping the gun.
Right. Which was
And now
really,
this is a Gear 5.
yeah, it's I'm trying to make this work. I think my everything is just starting to go bye-bye at this moment. This is a first. I'm gonna have to really cut all this out. I'm gonna have to really cut all this out once I get done. And I think, did I lose everything?
Yeah, all your screens are closed. Now I just see your screen top. Your bottom taskbar has rebooted.
Oh, lovely. I have lost. Well, we're still live, surprisingly. Surprisingly enough, we're still live. But as I'm getting this together, though, guys, and I apologize profusely if you're watching this, because, wow, I did not expect everything to just immediately die. Okay.
So the other end of this spectrum is moving a little bit beyond James Gunn. Once we get back, we'll jump back on this. Patty Jenkins also hit up Twitter, and she gave her side of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Finally clarifying the Wonder Woman thing. It's like, no, none of this is true. It's like, I'm still working with Lucasfilm and Disney on Rogue Squadron.
Right.
We are just taking a backseat hiatus because I want to work on Wonder Woman 3. Much like the Henry Cavill scenario, WB's like, yeah, go for it. And then James Gunn's like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Because it was honestly a lot of back and forth between the two, which I thought was crazy. For the simple fact of the matter, at first it was said, well, because me and Joe did talk about this, that at first Patty Jenkins wasn't allowed to write the third script for Wonder Woman 3.
She wrote the third script, but they said they gave her so many notes and told her that her script character arcs were incomprehensible.
Right.
So she got fed up and left. And then we learned, no, that's not the case at all. James Gunn just did basically what he did with Henry Cavill. It's like, hey, we're restructuring.
Mm-hmm.
We're happy to work with you. We want you to come back, but we got to figure out where everything is. Go do what you need to do. And once we get stuff sorted, we'll have you back for Wonder Woman 3 or basically just new Wonder Woman. Because pretty much, like, I think the only 3 actors standing out of the original Justice League now is Aquaman, which he may get restructured. They just got to dump his movie out.
True.
Ezra Miller, who's still problematic, and I guarantee you will not be moving forward with James Gunn. Because if he does, that's the thing that I'm going to kind of eye James Gunn oddly on.
Well, let's be honest.
Well,
let's be honest. At this point, they are really just saying they're behind Ezra Miller at this point. So that ship has sailed.
Well, they were behind Henry Cavill, and now look where we are.
Which you have a fair point on. And again, I apologize, guys. I guess my system decided that, it couldn't run everything. So, but it's cool. We can still keep moving forward here, guys.
Yep.
But
so I said, the Patty Jenkins thing turns out, she goes, cool. I'm going to go back. I'm going to start restructuring my Rogue Squadron stuff. And I'll see you guys down the road for Wonder Woman when stuff gets settled over DC. Which I'm like, fantastic. We have clarification on that.
Which it makes sense, but it was just thinking about Patty Jenkins where I was like, this back and forth between directors and DC. It's like, you almost want to go along the lines of, okay, what's to be believed versus now it's like, okay, is it going to be a he said, they said situation? But yeah, it's, I mean, don't get me wrong. Patty Jenkins did give us a wonderful Wonder Woman first movie. 84, as me and Joe have talked about it, was kind of on the side. And I mean the side for multiple reasons. So with her getting 3, like I said before, with Peter and with James Gunn and Severin, really wanting to go a different direction. It just that I see what they're wanting to do, and I'm not against it. Removing the Snyderverse and starting clean. I get that, but it does make us concerned, like what's going forward, because with Black Adam and its movie and how they wanted to change the DC universe, with Shazam, with Aquaman, with again the Flash movie that's going to come out. There's a lot that goes into question that makes you question some things. But again, with DC, it's just not surprising. But we'll leave it at that and just see what comes down the line, because I still trust in Gunn. I still think he's going to do a great job with DC. He's just going to need time, because that's the Marvel. I mean, the MCU needed 20 years, and not a lot of people understand that. It took 20 years for the MCU to get to where it is right now. So if DC is going to take that much amount of time, then cool, no problem.
And to build on that, Marvel still fights with its directors. I mean, we lost the original Blade director. They asked Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi is like, I don't feel like it. Mm-hmm. So now we've got, what's it called? Cthulhu Country? Yeah. Cthulhu Country's director to come in and do a version of
Lovecraft Country. Yeah, that guy.
Lovecraft Country. Thank you. Yeah, I knew that had something to do with Cthulhu.
I knew what you meant when you said Cthulhu. That's why I was like, oh, you meant Lovecraft Country. I knew what you meant. But yeah, they're bringing in that director, which again would be great for that type of storytelling. But we were going to show this. Joe, can you actually share your computer for the Go Loser Rangers? Because I have it.
Let me look that up.
Yeah, because everything on my side just went kaput. So I'm surprised that this thing is still up and I'm still working off one monitor, which tells me that it's time to probably 86 this machine and move on to the new one that's sitting in a box. But anyway, but as Joe brings that up,
have the old machine then?
Huh? Say it one more time, Joe.
Can I have the old machine then?
I don't know if I'm gonna be honest, man. This thing can barely handle two monitors. That's why I'm surprised it just died on me right now. Like I was trying to get my other monitor to come back up so I could actually share the trailers and things of that nature, but apparently this machine said no. So, but anyway,
that's why I closed down my old window. My previous ones on the one that have like Facebook and everything, I just opened this in like a whole new tab.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it will. It's just that I know it'll fix it. It's just the fact that since we're in the middle of this, I just don't want to because there's no way to pause this and restart. But that's fine. We'll just roll with it as it is. But anyway, before you play this trailer, Joe, because you told me. Okay, because I know you told me about this trailer, Joe. So do you want to explain it before you play it, or just let it explain itself?
Yeah, so Tokusatsu, or Super Sentai and Kamen Rider and Metal Heroes, have been making a bigger splash in the animation industry in Japan. As of late, we'd have that Super Sentai romance comedy that came out a while ago. Kamen Rider Double got a sequel series, a mid-quill series in Fudo PI, and there's a hit manga out called Go Loser Ranger, where it is the Super Sentai beat the bad guys, but they like the fame and adoration so much they are secretly funding the bad guys to continue appearances, and the grunts, which are basically just like, immortal grunts and Super Sentai are usually immortal beings for the most part.
Okay.
At least when they're human. If they're robots, you can just like crash them all day long. And putties, well, they're putties. But the classic grunts that are humans in costumes, you could beat on them all day and never get tired, and they'll always come back. So one of the grunts is finally getting tired of getting beat on by their supposed masters. So he's going to start fighting back and probably going to try and kill the Rangers one by one.
Huh. Okay. That's interesting. So it just made me think about when you said that it was like Go Go Loser Rangers. That's all I was like, that's an interesting title. And how is Hamsaban not pissed about this?
Do what?
I was saying that it's an interesting title they went for it. I'm like, how is Hamsaban not pissed about this and not immediately suing?
Because he probably doesn't know about it.
Because that's the one thing I wanted to point out so bad. I'm like, how is it that he doesn't know about this? Because I would think
the other way to look at it is, what if the Psycho Rangers became your standard Power Rangers and the Grunts were the good guys? Fair.
I can see that. It's just what I looked at. I was like,
also, guys, is a highly acclaimed manga who I've been reading, and you can read over on the Shonen Jump app, which is Kaiju number 8. Where the premise is kaiju are a normal constant appearance in everyday life in Tokyo, so they have a kaiju extermination squad, except one dude who is basically part of the cleanup crew.
Mm-hmm.
One day wakes up and he's a kaiju, so shenanigans.
That's gonna be interesting. I looked at that, I was like, Kaiju number 8. I said, okay, this is new. But no, I'm gonna have to check that out just because I'm
right here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh wait, hang on a second. Go for it.
Down, down, and now, down, and down, 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 and now, down, and down, 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 and now, down, and down, 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 and now, down, and down, down,
Okay, color me intrigued. Color me intrigued. I dig it. Just because you're not for to give me music like it's not like Megalobox and then just like have the figure just standing there in the distance and like, all right, time to roll. So yeah, I'm gonna look forward to that. I'm gonna have to go find some mangas on that one. Kaiju number 8.
Yeah, it's a hyper action comic. It's got some good shonen comedy bits in it.
Okay.
Because he wakes up and his roommate just immediately stumbles in and starts screaming kaiju's like, what are you talking about? Oh God.
Wow. Well, that's cool. So take that out, and Go-Go Loser Ranger is just going to be sticking in my head for a name of a title. But anyway, Joe, any other news we have before we go into comics, sir?
Trying to think what else was there. Let me look. I know that Michael B. Jordan recently announced that Creed 3 is going to be based entirely off of anime.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is this is either going to be based off Hajime no Ippo or this is going to be based off of Shino no Joe.
You know what? If it's Ippo, sir, that's God tier anime that you got to be very careful with. And I do mean very careful with, because that is something that let's just say just be very careful. That's the best way I could put that.
Of course he is. So Henry Cavill just announced that he will be producing and possibly starring in, you'll never believe it because it's Henry Cavill, a Warhammer 40K Space Marine series on Amazon.
He will be the perfect person.
That man, I guarantee you, that man used his Man of Steel money to at least buy only 40 armies in Warhammer, because that's exactly how much that costs.
I mean, he's also the same guy that almost missed an acting job because he was raiding. So if anything, he's dedicated. I will say that much. If anything, he is definitely a dedicated individual.
Now, hilariously, we have seen what some of the stuff Marvel has been, what some of the nominations for the Academy Awards are this year.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel has put forth all 3 of its films for Best Picture. And put out Thor Love and Thunder for Best Special Effects. Naturally, everybody immediately is laughing their collective asses off at this.
They want
rightfully so.
They want Love and Thunder to work so bad. So bad.
Shin Ultraman will be in theaters in America via Fathom in January 12th and 13th.
Okay.
I highly recommend going to see that. That is part of the Shinverse done by, what is his name? I can never remember when I got to think of it. Evangelion creator Hideki Anno, meaning he's going to show just how horribly incompetent the Japanese government is when dealing with anything. Having seen this movie already via means, can confirm the Japanese government just bends over anytime anything slightly more powerful comes in its wake.
Damn.
I mean, it's Anno. Anno just likes poking fun at it. Like, that was the whole point of Shin Godzilla, was the irony that the government was highly efficient at countering Godzilla. But that was after Godzilla nuked the entire former Japanese government, leaving only the young people to run the government.
That is definitely saying a lot. Dang.
So we don't even know what Shin Kamen Rider is going to be making fun of government-wise, but it's a coming, people.
Yeah, give them time. It's always the best stuff that nobody sees coming.
Possibly also Shin Kamen Rider coming out. Actually, I think it's supposed to come out, or maybe it already has come out. Anyways, Shin Ultraman, very, very good, very really fun stuff in that series, in that movie. Likes to point out a lot of funny things. Lots of callbacks to the 1970s era in terms of the way the monsters and the way even Ultraman moves.
Okay, so this was a recent Ultraman?
This is the Ultraman movie that Hideki Anno put out.
Okay, because I was going to say, wait a minute, because the most recent adaptation, I was thinking the Netflix. I'm sorry. I was thinking Netflix. I wasn't thinking an actual movie, but go ahead.
Oh, you know, it's an actual movie. Great. It's hilariously wonderful. I have never laughed so hard at the way they do some things.
Nice.
Other than that, it's just typical holidays. At some point, I got to go to Rick's Comic City and pick up my box because I had to put my box on hold for a month. That's probably a $200 comic book bill waiting for me.
Well, since we're talking about them, let's go ahead before you actually get loaded up. Because my other screen just came back up, so I'm going to try to run with this as fast as humanly possible before it breaks down again. We do want to give a shout out to Rick's Comic City. If you notice, that is their webpage there. They do give us love here on the Git Bit Podcast. We definitely want to show love back. If you are in the Middle Tennessee area, they do have 3 locations, one in Nashville, one in Clarksville, one in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Definitely check them out at any of the 3 locations or online at rickscomiccity.com. Definitely support them as they were voted Nashville's #1 place for comics. And not just comics, for collectibles, for mangas and things of that nature. But definitely check them out. Also, if you are not anywhere near Rick's Comic City, definitely check out your local comic store, your local library, because your local library still keeps copies of comics, of mangas, of multimedia. And yes, in 2022, you can still get a library card and be able to read or watch or interact to your heart's content. So definitely, if you're not able to get to Rick's Comic City, check out your local comic book store, check out your local libraries, and keep those places both active. And also, before Joe gets into his into this comic book pool, guys. I did want to say this before it doesn't get too lost. As Joe has pointed out, it is the holiday season, and not to bring us down on a somber note, guys, but please, oh please, check on your people. We've had some recent deaths that have rocked not only the fandom area, but also in other areas outside of geek and nerddom, that folks that we never thought that would find themselves in that decision of life to take their own life actually did. So with that being said, guys, also with the holidays, some people may not have the fondest of memories. So check on your loved ones, check on your friends and family. If you do have those types of thoughts, there are plenty of services and numbers and areas that you can call to get the help that you need. Please don't be that last choice, because your last choice will affect others. You are simply not alone. So just want to throw that out there, just because we've seen a lot of guys and women who have never thought they would make that decision actually did. But trust me, you don't have to consider that. You definitely can get support and help from multiple places. But not to bring that down on a somber note, Joe, what comic book pools do you have this week?
Well, ironically, we have Batman Spawn pulled up as we're talking about this.
Okay. Which was actually not a bad... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, this is not a bad book. Batman and Spawn. This is written by Todd McFarlane with art by Greg Capullo, inks by Todd McFarlane, and colors by Dave McCraig. I think I am legally bound to bring up since I'm a comic book reader. I will be completely honest with you guys. We all know I have very little love for Batman, especially after he Batmaned his way through the atmosphere without dying last issue. In just his batsuit, riding a small slab of concrete through the atmosphere and survived.
Yay, plot armor!
Doesn't have powers, my ass. And I'll be completely honest, Spawn was never my thing. I think the most I've ever seen from Spawn was the I can't think of his name outside of Black Dynamite. Michael Jai White and John Leguizamo. Michael Jai White and John Leguizamo Spawn movie. I think that's really the only exposure to Spawn I ever had. Okay. We're not in HBO house, so I did not get to see the series. And first appearance of the character, I was like, well, that's just Venom with a cape. So I was immediately disinterested. That is not to say Spawn is a bad character. I just do not have too much love for these characters in particular, but I will say the book is fine. The book takes place somewhere in the timeline of Scott Snyder's New 52 Batman run by the heavy reliance on the Court of Owls, the way the Joker is designed, and Batman's costume in it. Not to ruin it, but it's a fairly straightforward team-up book of establish hero A, establish hero B, hero A and B fight, hero A and B then join forces to fight villain A. So, I mean, it's a very straightforward book. Art's very good. Greg Capullo does great work. Todd McFarlane does a great job telling a very, very straightforward story. It's a little confusing. It may or may not involve time travel and odd timelines.
Odd timeline is
I'm
right.
kind of confused on that.
Odd timeline is right, because how they try to tie in how they try to tie in Al Simmons' wife and Bruce's mother and try to make the two equally responsible, and the Court of Owls somehow found found agents to recruit a Hellspawn. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, it's an intriguing storyline, but even I got questions, especially with the Joker, which as Joe had said, the Joker from the Snyder New 52 story, because his face is literally taped on with duct tape, and I don't mean that in a literal sense. I'm sorry. Yeah, I do mean in a literal sense. His face is on with duct tape, and he decides to rip it off just to show how serious he is. So,
Yeah, and I think this is the only way you get to see faceless Joker, because like
Yeah.
you never saw it at any point in time. But the fact that this is a Spawn book means, by all means, in all honesty, I think the age rating on this book is a little bit inappropriate.
a little bit. Mhm.
This should have been like a adult book in some cases.
Yeah,
Like if anything, just for the Joker walking around without a face.
that I'm surprised I'm surprised there wasn't a mature rating, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by that.
Again, not a bad book, but I feel like we're obligated to talk about it because this week was very 90s in terms of comic book reading.
Man. Yeah, I'll go with that. That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
Moving on over, we have the Dark Crisis Big Bang one shot. Written by Mark Waid, who, if you don't know how connected Mark Waid with the Flash is, I can't help you. The other side of that is Mark Waid is known for writing Wally, not Barry. So this is an interesting time where this is written by Mark Waid with art by Dan Jurgens and Norm Ratman, colors by Federico Blee. This is Barry running around the universe with Ace, the new Kid Flash, as Barry tries to have a one-on-one rematch across the multiverse with the Anti-Monitor.
If Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure
And
had a
still nearly dies.
I call it if Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure had a boss villain. That's pretty much what it was. But it was great though. But don't get me wrong, it was great as far as they showed, and not to cut you off, Joe. They showed they showed quite a lot of multiverses. Some of the Earths I do remember, and some of the Earths I actually forgot about. Especially when you saw the Batman as Green Lantern.
So, from what my understanding with... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, that was it. That's all I was going to point out. Uh-oh. And I thought it may have happened. It's like... I'm starting to wonder if this is actually going to make it. Joe, you still there? It might have froze up. I'm gonna give him a second. But while he's doing that, though, yes, because the Big Bang, which again was interesting in itself, just because of the fact that number one, Barry is literally fighting through the multiverses. I mean, different Earths as he's fighting the Anti-Monitor. Even though he's the weirdest part was the fact that he did we can't call it a supersonic punch, but it's close. What I mean by that is Barry decides that he wants to take it upon himself to literally and figuratively run through the multiverses. And really from there, as he said, it's like he has to be very careful because as he's building up speed, he can literally burn himself out. But not only does this punch not once, but twice, which I thought was really interesting, really cool. At the same time, the first one was kind of folly just because the Anti-Monitor was just like, he kind of dusted it off. But then you see Kid Flash come back, and that's why I just love when Kid Flash came back. He brought different heroes from each of the different Earths, and they all went at the Anti-Monitor, which I thought was pretty cool as far as that battle goes, even to the point to where Barry thought he would have to sacrifice himself by doing the same move again just to knock him into negative space. But again, I just thought that was pretty cool because Barry thought that, by knocking him in negative space, that he would be trapped in there with the Anti-Monitor as well, only to be saved by Green Lantern Batman, which I still think is crazy as all get out. Aside from that, I mean, yeah, it was a good read. And I know as I'm rambling as I'm waiting for Joe to come back on. We have just technological advancements have not been on our side for this podcast. So again, we all apologize. But yeah, the other pulls that he did, Radiant Black, number 20. Just to get my synopsis on it, because a robot that Radiant Black and Radiant Pink are fighting. And it's just weird. I mean, I won't say weird. What actually works that issue is the commentary between Pink and Black. Pink, who, if you guys don't know, can actually, use teleportation rings to teleport herself everywhere. And of course, Black with the abilities of black holes, trying to get them to work together. It's just a little off. There he is.
Okay, well, I'm going to do this on my webcam because my computer just locked up completely.
No, that's fine. I was just talking about. I was still on the. I just gave my opinions on the Dark Crisis Big Bang. But what were your thoughts on that? Uh-oh. It went down again. I think it went down. Hang on a second. Joe, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Now, I was just saying that I was just giving my thoughts on Dark Crisis Big Bang before I move on to Radiant Black. But what were your thoughts on the Big Bang Dark Crisis?
I really enjoyed it. I think Mark Waid's a very competent writer, especially when he writes The Flash. I mean, the man wrote the majority of the 90s to 2000s series of The Flash, so I trust him even writing Barry, even though Wally is his bread and butter. Mm-hmm. Getting to see the different universes is most definitely a cool thing. The other cool thing, once we get the computer back up and running, is that at the end of the issue, they actually give you a list of what the functional universes will be used moving forward once the DC universe reboots after this crisis.
Right.
And Nightwing becoming our new Jesus in this universe.
Nightwing Jesus.
He is Nightwing Jesus.
I just thought about that because I remember that. Well, that was actually one of the covers on the inside. It's like Nightwing Jesus. God help us. Okay. So as we're waiting for that though, Radiant Black issue 20. I'll let you go with that one on that one first, because I have my thoughts on it. But what did you think of the issue?
This was fine. I mean, this is just kind of building along the new current storyline, which is getting them to slowly become a functional team, and the Galactic Wars starting, I guess. Okay. Because Yellow in his room is looking at all the timelines via his powers like, no, this is still the timeline where all the giant robots come to obliterate Earth. One of the robots does touch down, and Radiant Black and Radiant Pink fight it. Mm-hmm. They have very little success, so Pink goes and gets Red out of jail, which she is in jail if you read her Radiant Red story, to where she's like, you can't just break me out of jail. She's like, I'm here for a reason. Pink's like, giant robot, you gotta come. She's like, fine. So they defeat it. Red voluntarily just goes back to jail, while the two men that share the Radiant Black power just like shift all the pieces into their garage and just close the garage.
That is the best way to just sit there and say, you know what, let's hide all the evidence. And
like, never happened.
But no, it was a good. I thought it was a great issue. Just the whole camaraderie. Like Red is just sitting there saying, "I cannot get out of jail, but you need my help." And then at the end of it all, it's like, okay, you gotta go back. Yeah, gotta go back to jail. Although it was really cool about Radiant Yellow, who was trying. I guess he's searching for different possibilities, but almost every possibility he looks at leads like it's going to war. So it's almost like he's pulling a Doctor Strange is what he's pulling. It's like he's trying to figure out which possibility won't lead to destruction. But I mean, overall, it was an irritating issue. But the whole thing at the end of it all, where you decide to put the pieces of the robot, in a garage. Yeah, nobody's looking for that. I would think.
So my question in that whole thing is, that is a whole giant robot. Mm-hmm. How do you fit that much robot in one garage?
You know what? This is where I think they're well. No, he doesn't have. I might say he doesn't have the Radiant Black. I mean, he has powers of a black hole, but I can't think that he's going to use negative space. But I don't know. It did make you wonder how they got all that in there. Like certain pieces either were missing or questionably gone. But either way. But Joe, I am glad you're back because I wanted you to explain this dark web that you pulled me into. Do you want to? I
That's
guess
a
we can start.
horrible analogy.
If you pull me into this dark web, so you get to explain it. With dark web, of course, X-Men. We start with X-Men because the story kind of starts off there from where we began. Because before Joe starts, the last part of it was that Ben and was it Janice or Janice? One of the two.
Madeline. Oh wait, are we
excuse
talking about Ben's girlfriend? Or are we talking about the other part of this whole cabal?
Ben's girlfriend when they went to Limbo.
Oh, Janine.
Thank you. So just to recap, Ben and Janine found themselves on Limbo to face Madeline, who had become the ruler of Limbo after Magic had left to Krakoa. And then Madeline decided, let's go raise some hell. Which again leads to where we are now. And of course, Janine becomes Hallows Eve because now she has the powers of Limbo as well. And we all know Ben, because of his issues with the Beyond Corporation and running into Peter and becoming a shell of himself, realizing that he's a clone, has become Chasm, which leads us to where we are now in the Dark Web story, continuing with the X-Men, which I'll let Joe take from here.
It's all 90s from here on out. So this is written by Zeb Wells. Dark Web #1 is written by Zeb Wells with art by Adam Kubert and colors by Frank Martin. Let me trying to think, because there's so much going on in this. Like, the first Dark Web issue is just the setup of everything. Like, Ben is having these terrible nightmares with really, honestly, incredible body horror as he is slowly being, like, taken apart and pulled apart and deconstructed. Meanwhile,
there he goes. Cool. You still with us, Joe?
Yeah, you blinked on me this time.
Oh, my bad. Try it again.
Yeah. So, Peter's attending a birthday party for Harry Osborn, who has sadly passed. Everyone's actually pretty excited because, for a change, Peter is there. He's not doing anything. He's not late. It's not, boo, Peter, you missed the whole party. Peter's there. Mary Jane's there and calls a ceasefire because, you know, she's not with Paul and the kids, so Peter can't get sucker punched. And I am about to re-enter the studio proper, so give me one moment.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, as he's coming up, because as they're doing Dark Web, it is how can I put this? Joe said it was 90s, but you don't think it can get any more 90s than this? Just wait till Joe.
So it does get more 90s than this. It does get more. Oh, I'm not showing the picture. I'm not going to show comic interiors because what we're doing is highly dubious as it is, anyways.
Fair enough. We are. This is going to be a hell of an editing job once I'm done. But go ahead. Okay, so far so good.
Okay, so here's the first one for Dark Web 1. So this sets everything up. So in New York, it's still Christmas. The X-Men are Christmas shopping. Magic is seeing super weird stuff as she's going along. Peter and Maddie are slowly going through their idea of what they're going to do. We see that Madeline has captured Venom. We don't know what's going on there because, honestly, I haven't read Venom since King in Black. The last time I know is Venom. The Venom symbiote was a giant dog. The other symbiote sleeper was a little kitty who just sleeps all day. And new Venom is Eddie's kid.
Yeah. Although the reason why Eddie's there is because Madeline had duped him into basically coming from Limbo back to Earth. So in order to do that, she basically reverted him back to 90s Venom.
Oh yeah, she did. She just did uninstall and reinstall the previous settings.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we have huge 90s slobbering tongue everywhere, green drool everywhere. Eat your brains, lethal protector Venom. This is just fun. The more fun part is we get to see some other things with Ben. Most notably, Ben tracks down Norman. So, this is my favorite thing. Despite that Ben is losing the majority of his memories, Ben still knows what Norman did to him.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, that itch in my back, that's from you, and that never went away. So Norman tries to hop into his Gold Goblin costume, but Ben's like, yeah, pumpkin your glider to explode. Now I'm just going to beat you with it for a while.
Just, you know.
Meanwhile, Norman's like, I'm sorry I did this to you. He's like, oh, no, that doesn't count. Sir, you killed me. So Ben just beats the piss out of Norman.
Mm-hmm.
And it just hops into the next issue, which we're going to be looking at, which is Spider-Man number 15, written by Zeb Wells, art by Ed McGuinness.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the cover is done by John Romita Jr., which is why Venom looks like he's anorexic, because, again, John Romita Jr. art.
Venom looks like he's vegan.
Venom looks like he did PX90 incorrectly.
Damn. Damn. I mean, not wrong, but
this picks up immediately where it's like the next 3 issues we're going to be looking at, guys, the Dark Web, Spider-Man, and the following issue. It's one long, coherent story.
Very much.
So this is now focusing on Peter's side of what's going on at the moment, because Peter's tracked down Ben. It's like, Ben, it's so good to see you. Peter's like, yeah, F you, Pete.
Pretty much.
By the way, you may want to take your boss to the hospital. I got other things to do. And all of a sudden, Pete's like trying to take Norman, and then Venom rolls up on him. And Venom is 90s Venom again. So Peter's like, oh, this isn't good.
I was like, how dare you?
He actually does a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure thing. It's like, I have one tactic left. Run away.
He's like the whole argument over the brain. It's like your brain will be a scant meal. Excuse me, my brain's a foreign. Why am I arguing my brain flavor to you? It's just in mid argument. Why am I arguing about the flavor of my brain to you? You will never get it.
Meanwhile, Ben is continuously doing some weird stuff, and he's got a magic book. And I love him doing these incantations. He's like, "Am I saying this crap right?" And somehow poor Ms. Marvel, Camilla Khan, Ms. Marvel gets dragged into this. And Ben's just like reading the spell. It makes Ms. Marvel just disappear into a portal. It's like, well, I guess that spell works.
He's like, did it work right? Yep. At least I think so. She's not here anymore. I guess it worked. Just damn.
It's just great. So Venom is dealt with momentarily, where even like Madeline Pryor and Halsey roll up after Peter beats off Eddie, and uses because the Goblin Queen is attacking New York, but not importantly, not attacking the Krakoa treehouse for the Embassy of the X-Men. It is noted that she is, via the rules of exchange and contract, so with magic, she cannot move any aggressive force against any form of Krakoan architecture or people.
Right.
Personally.
Right.
But like all of her spells will not work on Krakoan soil.
Right.
The X-Men can deal with monsters from Krakoa, and they can attack them, but like she cannot physically harm anything from Krakoa.
Right.
So Peter has to fight off inhabited demonic Christmas trees in Central Park, light them on fire. Their screams of agony are so powerful that it disrupts the 90 symbiote off Eddie to where he can get a clean hit on Eddie.
Oh, man.
Madeline Halsey rolls up. It's like, we'll take Brock for you. And it's like, yeah, he's really unhinged. It's not that unhinged. He tried to eat my brains. We haven't dealt with it. And she's like, That's fair. He's more names than he should be. We'll take
Yeah.
him from here. Ben rolls back in, and we don't know what's going on there.
Right.
So next, we're jumping over to the next issue. This has been a delight, and this is what I wanted from Spider-Man the whole time. But again, I don't think Zeb Wells is meant to write Peter. I think he's meant to write Ben.
You wouldn't be wrong.
So next up, we're running into Dark Web #1. This is written by Jerry Duggan, art by Rod Reese, who I believe is also the creator of Spider-Gwen in terms of art. And so more.
Hang on, try that one more time. Uh-oh. Not yet. You're coming in and out. Hang on a second. This is going to be... Why has this been our type of night? It has been our type of night on this. Try it one more time, Joe.
Okay, better?
A little bit. Keep going.
All right, so in this issue, we get a brief rundown of how magic came to power and whatnot. And the X-Men are just doing their Christmas shopping for their Christmas party in the Krakoa treehouse, and then everything just kind of like, everything becomes demonic. I love the fact that magic is like sticking up for Madeline this whole time until she just looks forward and it's like, well, crap.
Yeah, you see a humongous boulder coming at you, and it's just like, she's not that bad. There's a boulder headed our way.
Oh, no. That's not what I'm talking about. It's when they just stumble upon the tree over by the Rockefeller Center. And a bus is trying to eat people, the mailbox, cars.
Oh, the tree got possessed. The tree got possessed. It's just like, you people.
We see that Forge is dealing with a demonic motorcycle running around with the head of its driver mounted on it. Go dark. So Forge just makes a gadget that spews vines. We get a callback to the movie Mannequin.
Yeah,
which makes me smile because I thought I was the only one that remember that movie. But like, holiday shoppers are being attacked by mannequins, and someone just screams like, "They're coming after us!" And this is not the fun, sexy, comedic way. So Force deals with that. Magic, Havoc, Cyclops, and Jean go to limbo, meaning Firestar and Iceman are left in New York to deal with it. So we have an homage to Spider-Man as amazing friends as they take on the demonic Christmas tree of Rockefeller Center. And this also proves that the team up of Firestar, Spider-Man, and Iceman, unlike the TV show, do not work in practicality in the Marvel Universe.
Terrible power mix.
It's wonderful. Meanwhile, a giant boulder, as Will just said, gets thrown immediately at the Limbo team, which Jean just like yawns and catches it. And then we learn that sleep demons knock everybody out.
That part. That part right there. Oh, it's sleep demons. Sleep. I was like, really?
No, I like the end part where the demon's like, up high.
Just a high five.
Yeah, we did our job right.
The high five answers would kill me. It's like...
So after they defeat the demonic Christmas tree in probably the worst way possible of setting them on fire, as the Christmas tree slowly burns and bemoans the fact that he himself is not the monster, but humanity is the monster.
Very Edgar Allan Poe.
So Firestar's like, ooh. So Iceman flash freezes it and does such a good job that it is noted that this demonic tree will not defrost entirely until March.
Damn. Well, I mean, he has faced Crossfire.
Moving back over into Limbo. This is why I love this stuff. Cyclops and Havoc wake up, and Cyclops immediately goes like, Alex, what the hell are you wearing? And I was like, you back off. I woke up like this.
Ooh, that was funny. Dressed up as the Dark
Meaning,
Queen.
I guarantee you, Madeline put him like that just to mess with Alex.
Yeah.
And Alex makes a very valid point of, Scott, you need to talk to this woman. You abandoned her and your son to go be with Jean. I guarantee if you sit down with her, this will all go away. Cyclops, meanwhile, on the other hand, no.
Just the whole point, as she's literally watching the whole situation, just like, oh, you thought we've only just begun. You can literally hear we've only just begun playing as she's talking.
But I mean, Alex makes a valid point. It's like, just sit down and talk with her. And Cyclops like, yeah, I just want to get back to Jean and help stop the invasion. And then immediately gets knocked out by Madeline. And I'm like, no, Alex is 100% correct. I guarantee if you sit down and talk this out with Madeline, half this stuff wouldn't be happening right now. Instead, Cyclops is just like, nah.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the funny part. But yeah, it was interesting, the fact that, you know, Jean and Magic are in force fields. Scott and Havoc are about to literally go through the Pulp Fiction of torture.
Probably. And then on a nice little side note, we get to know what everybody got this year for Christmas in the X-Men Christmas exchange, which there are rules. And the rules are gifts are less than $50 of purchase. The gifts can only be stolen by once per person. Numbers are telepathically selected. And gift order, what was that?
Kelly sent me something about a kid choosing Pokemon, so I had to hurry up and kill it because it was like I'll explain after the podcast, but go ahead.
If it's not Flake Coco, they've chosen incorrectly.
No, it's I'll explain after the podcast.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The numbers telepathically selected and gift selecting order was determined of Jean, Sync, Havoc, Forge, Firestar, Magic, Iceman, and Cyclops. And then after a few rounds of thievery and at least one accusation of telepathic shenanigans, everything got sorted. Jean got Sync's gift, which was a limited edition single cask of wine from Japan. It was later opened and shared on New Year's Eve. Sync ended up with an interesting piece of art made of carbon and diamonds, which was forged by Firestar in a tornado. It was stolen several times, but Sync retrieved it. Havoc somehow just finagled his way into getting his own gift to himself, which was a year-round of coffees around the world gift delivery. Forge ended up getting a knockoff hoodie sold by a street vendor outside the treehouse with Iceman's face on it, meaning Iceman just got a hoodie with just his face on to promote himself.
Nice.
Firestar ended up with Forge's gift, which was a living clock that displays the full date and time down to the nanosecond, made with only flowers from cocoa. Magic received Jean's present, which was an asteroid plucked from high orbit from our planet that Jean noticed and took a fond kind to while saving the world in the middle of the Eternals attack.
Okay.
Iceman ended up getting the gift Ileana gave everybody, which was originally thought to be a teddy bear wrapped up, but turned out to be the mummified heart of a rhyming demon in limbo. To this day, Iceman is still not exactly sure where the appropriate place to keep it was. And then finally, Cyclops ended up with his own gift, which he is happy because it's a Band of Brothers 4K Blu-ray box set signed by Tom Hanks.
Damn. Oh, God.
And then lastly, I added this, but this year would have been the 100th birthday of Stan Lee.
Without him, without that man's ingenuity, and A lot of writers owe a lot to that individual. So definitely happy birthday, happy 100th birthday posthumously to the overall watcher of the MCU. But thank you, Joe, for that. And again, guys, we do have to apologize. Technical difficulties have gotten the better of us today. So if you did stick around,
which is actually very rare on SteamYard.
Yeah, very rare, but it happens. But if you stuck with us this long, we do thank you for sticking around. We really appreciate it. Hopefully the next one, next go around will definitely be better. Joe, you do have some news, sir, that you want to give to the people before we call tonight? As far as your cosplay event?
In what way? Oh, yeah, I'm going to be at the Malco Theater tomorrow night. What is probably my most crappiest cosplay I think I've ever put together. I think I'm just getting like a tactical vest and some green pants and some biker guards, and I'm going to be a space whaler. I'm going to hunt space whales.
He is going to, I just, why do I see a kid that's going to look at you and just be like, if they say exactly what you intended.
He was going to tell me, I just want somebody to put it like, you put maximum effort for this, didn't you? He was like, the Maximist.
God. Yes, Joe will be with his cosplay group, Dadbot Cosplay.
This one is Dadbot Cosplay and Associates.
Sounds like a lawyer. Sounds like a law firm. Sounds like a law firm at this point.
We added some because we have female people in the group, and they do not have the ability to obtain Dadbot, so they are the associates.
Fair enough. But yes, Joe will be cosplaying with his group. It sounds like a law firm when I say it. They'll be at the Samura Malco Theater. What time tomorrow, Joe? Or y'all just be there all day?
I believe from 6 to 9.
All right, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely come by, take pics with Joe, let him know, say hi, say hello, and I want to know what you guys think of his cosplay, because if he does get his response, he will let me know about it. You can also
quote Raleigh, my cosplay is maximum.
You can also catch Joe on his YouTube channel at Total Justice Gaming. You can catch him on his Twitch channel at Joe Italian last name. And I know you said that. Are you going to have anything coming up on Total Justice Gaming as far as any new spirit decks or anything of that nature?
We're waiting for them to drop more Battle Spirits news. I mean, we're getting at some point they're going to start putting out the leaked decks. The biggest news is that Battle Spirits is now being officially sponsored in the U.S. by Critical Role, so I guess that's real big.
Nice.
I don't know what Critical Role is. So,
you'll trust me. It's right up your alley. Trust me, it's right up your alley.
As for what I'm playing, if I do get on Twitch at some point, it'll probably be Gundam Evolution, which is Overwatch Gundam units.
Downloaded it. I just have to finish moving in before I can get back to playing again. So I'm definitely gonna look forward to playing that.
I play the Junkrat of the group, meaning I play a Rickdom.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As for what I'm playing right now, I am playing Chained Echoes, which is Chrono Trigger, but with Gundams.
Nice.
I already beat Pokemon, so don't know what I'm doing there.
Well, you said you were.
See they put out DLC.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've done all 3 stories. Done the Pokemon League. They let you go back and re-challenge the gyms at all the gym leaders having level 65 Pokemon, and then do a giant school brawl where it's just a giant tournament you can continuously do over and over again to like rake in cash.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm done with Pokemon basically story-wise.
Makes sense. Okay.
Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days. I'm in.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days, I'm in.
Ooh, I thought the thing froze again. I was going to say again. No, keep going, Joe. I thought the thing froze again. I'm sorry. This has not been on our...
Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days, I am in story mode 2, so I guess this is just hard mode where everything just like tries to kill me within 3 turns.
Mm-hmm.
Not been that.
Nice.
It's fun for me because I like it. It's super challenging. PlayStation wise, I think I'm just going around with female shepherd and just yelling at everybody.
I can't see you doing
Like there's
Renegade.
not a whole lot of video gaming for me to do right now.
I'm about to say I can't really see.
Oh, I don't
you
play
in
her as Renegade. If I play female shepherd, I just I either do the basic military response or the middle response most of the time.
Gotcha. I was like, you got.
I think Jennifer Hale has the better voicing for gruff, tough soldier, and the dude that does shepherd voice has the more like chill, compassionate soldier, while Jennifer Hale, the female shepherd, is the gung-ho Yo-Jo shepherd for soldiering.
Yeah, I can kind of never really thought about it that way. I see your point though. But yeah, but
it's like in
so what?
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. No, I was just gonna say. With that being said, though, definitely check Joe out on that. And again, guys, apologies for the technical difficulties. This has never happened to us before on StreamYard. But definitely shout out to Vaughn at Big VGA on all socials. I'm sorry we couldn't show it because right now I feel like if we sneeze on this thing, it's gonna crash. So. Apologies for not showing visuals, but definitely check him out, Bond at Big VZA on all socials. I myself, you can find me at BlackBox447 on all socials. You can like and follow me on almost everything. I usually give reviews on everything that I watch, that I see, that I play, and gym stuff. I do a couple push-ups. The link at the bottom, I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm trying to do everything not to make this thing die as we're doing the outro on this. But you see the link at the bottom, and of course, on the replay, I will make it bigger. If you copy and take that link into your browser, take you to our link tree. That's the YouTube and Facebook groups for all of our podcasts. How the Friend Got Here, Git Bit, of course, off this podcast. If you like, share, and subscribe. And like I said, guys, the holidays were about a week away from that being that wonderful time for people. Please check on your loved ones. Please check on your friends. Check on your family. And of course, for those that are going through it, you are definitely not alone. There's plenty of services out there for you. Please protect yourselves, especially if you're going to be traveling. Coronavirus is still out there. Please wear a mask. Please keep yourself home if you are sick, just to cut down the rate of transmission within coronavirus, flu season, RSV. With that being said, guys, because it's Christmas, the Christmas season is coming up. Please be with your loved ones. Game, eat, be merry, enjoy. It's not always about presents. It's about being with family. I know that sounded very Dominic Toretto, but it's corny, but it's true. But with that being said, guys, we'll catch you again at the same same time as always, same Git Bit time, same Git Bit channel. Joe, anything left before we call it a night, sir, on this very
Yes, I will actually be on the Fire and Water Network's Justice League International Bwahaha podcast very soon.
Nice.
As I cover Justice League issue 52. The issue where Ted Cord gets into a boxing match with Guy Gardner, and it goes exactly how you think it goes.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Batman questions existence of why he's even on this team.
Damn. Joe will give you those. Joe will definitely get me that stuff once that happens, because we do want to broadcast anything and everything that we do. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Beyond that, guys, again, have a happy holidays, no matter what you celebrate, or if you just don't simply celebrate at all. Enjoy your time off and stay warm, stay dry, and hopefully stay humble and happy. But the last thing I'll say, guys, about us again. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll all get through this. Thank you all for watching and being with us thus far. Joe, any last words we call tonight, sir?
If you're going to watch Brahmastra on Disney Plus, I recommend you do it on Hulu.
He's been Joe. I've been Will. This has been the Git Bit Podcast. Thank you all for watching, guys. We are out. Peace.